YouTube, my name is Mesa Sean, and we are back here on Borderlands 3. Okay, folks, in this video, we're going to go over the key things to take away from this week with regards to Borderlands 3. We had the official reveal stream, and then also I've got some hands-on time with Borderlands, and you're seeing some of that gameplay in the background. I put up a video yesterday going over my first impressions of Borderlands 3 after playing it for about an hour and a half, and I recorded all of it, so I've got tons more things to go over. Expect a lot more content this weekend, so if you're into Borderlands 3, make sure you hit that subscribe button and hit that like button. So let's get into some things that you need to know, and I've got tons and tons of notes to go over, so sit back and strap in. Let's talk about skills and your abilities. So I was playing on the character Zane. He's the assassin, and he has 3 different types of skills. He has the Sentinel drone, he has the barrier, and also the Digiclone. All 4 of the Vault Hunters will have 3 different abilities, just like Zane over here. Now, Zane is the only one who can actually have 2 abilities at the same time, and he will lose his grenade function. Now, for all of the Vault Hunters, you can change your ability at any time. So you could be mid-story mission and decide for a next particular area, okay, I'm going to switch to something else and change it up depending on the situation. As you play the game, you will be awarded skill points, and you can apply those skill points anywhere you want across your 3 abilities. This is where builds are going to come into place, and actually Randy, I believe on stage, said there will be hundreds of different variations of builds that you can create across your different Vault Hunters. I did record all of the different augmentations you could make to your abilities, but I will save that for another video, and I'll also include Amara in there, the Siren character. Those are the only 2 characters that right now we know about all the different things you could do to their abilities. Once you apply your skill points, don't feel like you're locked into them. At these things called quick change stations, look at the bottom right here. You're going to see respec. From here, you can go in there and actually pull those skill points off and then allot them to different areas depending on which ability you like more. So there's a lot of customization you can do, and again, this is where your builds are going to come in. Borderlands 3 is just loaded with loot, and here I am just looking at a whole big stockpile of loot that there was a little cheat function that the developer hit the key and said, hey, you want to see a whole bunch of guns? I said, yeah, show me some. Now, there's numerous manufacturers. I will do a whole video on that. And when you're looking at your different weapons, well, they're going to have tons of different elements. There's actually a new element, which is called radiation. And what happens is when you kill an enemy, they will explode and actually radiate, and enemies around them will take radiation damage. When you pick up a piece of loot, you're going to see an overall level number, and that should be comparable to your overall level. But then you're going to see an item score. Now, the item score is that numbers, or that value, is not like Destiny or the Division in terms of you need to add up your total score to be more powerful. And in fact, here's a tweet from Cullen Sweet, who is the community manager for Borderlands 3, and he was responding to Morning After Kill, and he says, it's nothing like Destiny. This is just an estimation of how good the weapon is. It's basically how many parts plus elements for the non-power users. Do a quick glance comparison. In Borderlands 3, you will have certain manufacturers that will have weapons that will have alternate fire modes. So here I am just testing out some weapons from a loot chest that I found. And if you look on the bottom right-hand screen above my abilities, when you press down on the D-pad, not only does it tell you the type of change in the weapon fire, but you can also change the elements too. They mentioned on the live stream reveal that some weapons you can turn from shooting ice to then fire bullets. So really unique feature. When I was playing, for the most part, I was using this kind of like heavy machine gun that would fire like a sped up Gatling gun, and then I could switch it to a grenade launcher. So if you want to fire some grenades and do some serious DPS, you switch to grenade launcher. If you want to fire it like a Gatling gun, switch to Gatling gun. Yeah, I love this new feature in Borderlands 3. Let's talk about a few things from the reveal stream now. Now, one of the things that Randy had pointed out is that you actually can see the degradation of the actual cover spots. And in some of the clips here, I don't know if you could see it there, but yeah, okay, he just shot it right there. Sometimes you can actually shoot and break down some of the cover that the enemies are hiding behind. Now, I was doing that in my gameplay too on some of those spaces, but I don't know if the enemies can do that. I'm going to assume that if you could do it to them, they probably can do it to you. Now, I talked about this in my initial impression impressions review, but the sliding and the mantling in this game is amazing. The fact that they added sliding and mantling to the game adds so much more fluidity to the way it feels as a first-person shooter. It didn't feel as clunky as Borderlands 2. Borderlands 2 felt a little clunky. You feel faster, and the fact that you could slide into an enemy, you could go for the slide and go for the melee, or a slide and shotgun them in the face, but then also the mantling. I mean, how many times in Borderlands 2 did you go for that jump on the ledge and you didn't make it? But the fact that they added mantling, which is just basically you can hop up onto a ledge, and if you're close enough, well, your character will auto-mantle on top of it. Yeah, just the movement felt so good on this game. They also mentioned on the live stream that there are more bosses and mini-bosses, and the overall story and game is much bigger than Borderlands 2. They also mentioned what they call a moment of victory, that when you defeat an enemy, you get a drop. Now you can see here, they defeated this boss who was using this gun on them. Well, he dropped that weapon for them, which I think is awesome because you're getting attacked by this really cool weapon, by this really cool boss, and then you kill him, and you get to take his weapon and then use it in your next encounter. Really cool feature. Another huge feature that I said in my initial impressions video, well, it's trivial and may not be huge for everyone, but to me it was, is the fact that when you open up a loot box that contains ammo, no longer do you have to press a button on your controller or a key on your keyboard to pick up that ammo. You just literally open up the box, and whatever you need to replenish, you just walk over it and it auto fills your weapons. Really cool feature. They also mentioned that when you go to the ammo stations to buy ammo, no longer do you actually have to go and scroll through each one. I mean, you can if you want, they said, but you can actually just go up to it and press one button, and it will automatically take all your money and reload all of your weapons. They did not go into any depth of it, but one thing they did mention was in Borderlands 3, you can revive NPCs, and at the same time, NPCs can revive you. Now, I wonder how that's going to play out depending on what story mission or side quest you're going on as you're fighting alongside an NPC. If you go down, that NPC should be able to revive you. An awesome new feature is going to be loot instances. So this character here on the live stream, they completed a certain section, and you can see when they opened up this chest, well, they're level 5. So these two pieces of loot, they're going to be level 5, and they're going to have an appropriate item score for this particular player. Now in Borderlands 3, you could play by yourself, you could play co-op with friends, or you can matchmake with people and do co-op activities together. Now, to show off what they mean by loot instances, now they have another player playing with this person who's much higher level, and look at the level. The level's higher, it's 25, and the item score is much higher. However, when they play together, the enemies are going to be all scaled. So it's not like the person that's much higher level is going to have an easier time with all of these enemies. It's going to be scaled between the two of them. However, the person that's level 5, the enemies will be level 5 and the loot drops will be level 5. For the person that's 25, the loot drops will be level 25 and the item scores will be much higher. So I see this as a win-win because if you need to help out a friend, you're a much higher level than them and you've already done these activities, well, you could still jump in with them, play with them, go through the activities, and when there's drops, well, you both will get drops, except you will get a drop at a higher level if you're helping something out, or at least that's how I understood it. However, they did mention there is a classic mode where you could bring in your OP character and it will be just the way it was in the old Borderlands and things won't scale. You'll be OP and you'll be wasting everything. But then also, well, people can steal loot basically, or I think that's how they explained it, was when you're in those situations, you matchmake with people, people will be fighting over the loot. So I love this new system, or the system that they will have in place for Borderlands 3, where you can help out your friends who are lower level and still get loot that will be appropriate for your character. In Borderlands 3, we have what's called the Sanctuary 3. He said there's no Sanctuary 2. This is a ship, and this is going to take you to different destinations and different worlds. And this is where you're going to have some familiar NPCs, and basically, well, I'm not going to go over everything here because there's way too much to go over, but this is where most of the NPCs are going to be. Now, one really cool feature that they're going to scroll over on the right-hand side in a second is if you forget to pick up pieces of loot out and about, there's this little kind of, well, it looks like an oven, as they said on screen. You go here, and actually this is where all of your lost loot will come out of. So if you forget to pick up some things, well, these items will go here, and you can pick them up at Sanctuary 3. A couple of things that I thought were really cool is, I believe, depending on which Vault Hunter you are, you kind of get your own room that you can kind of decorate and put things up on the wall. You could put a weapon up there. You can see they just picked it up. And also Marcus, the munitions guy, he's going to sell upgrades to your backpack, to how much ammo, to how many grenades you can keep. They did mention on stream that you could use cash to buy those upgrades. In Borderlands 2, you would have to use Iridium to do that. So pretty cool feature. So that's the 10 plus or 20 plus. I don't know. I covered a lot of stuff in this video, and I just have a whole page full of notes that I took when I was flying back home, and also while I was recording this gameplay that you're seeing in the background here. But I'm excited, guys. Let me know in the comment section if you're a Borderlands aficionado. Are you hyped for Borderlands 3? If you're new to the franchise, hey, also chime in. What do you guys think of this game? Are you guys thinking about picking it up? I'll be covering a lot more stuff this weekend, and as we go through the summer, basically up to launch. They did announce they will be at GuardianCon this year. I'll be at GuardianCon this year, so if you're there, come by and say hi. But I'm assuming this summer we're going to see some more stuff, and hopefully I can get some more content for you guys as we progress through the summer. That's it, guys. Do me a favor. Leave me a hashtag made it to the end. If you did make it to the end, drop a like in this video, only if you see fit. Follow me on Twitter at Mesa Sean. Check out my stream, usually and always on YouTube, and that's it. I am out of here like Vladimir. And I forgot to mention, one really cool thing about the Hyperion shotguns is when you aim down sight, they have a shield that actually pops out that you can see that is off to the left and the right when you aim down sight. How cool is that? Yeah, the weapons are amazing in this. The weapons are amazing in this game, guys. All right, I'll see you.